It's a time of year that I've been dreading. It's time to take down my balcony garden. There are a few logistical challenges of having a balcony garden when you live in a cold climate or like a four-season climate like Canada. And that is, A, I have to dispose of the dirt somehow, because B, I have to stack the pots, and C, shield them from the impending cold that could potentially crack them. Now, in previous years, I've just left my plants out there and I thought, oh, they're perennials, they'll come back. But then I ended up with kind of like a frozen, icy, sludgy mess, and the pots cracked, and it was just like truly a disgusting mess to clean up, and I don't ever want to have to do that again. So this year I'm going to empty all the pots out. I'm going to compost the soil because our building has a composter, and then I'm going to wash the pots and stack them up. I really should have done this a few weeks ago. Basically, there was one weekend in Toronto where there was a cold snap and all of my plants died. Anyways, I've been letting them sit there festering. My greatest fear today is that I'm going to get attacked by spiders. Now at this point you have two options. The first option is that you can just get rid of your soil, stack up the pots, and you're good for winter. The second option though, and what I'm going to do, is a step further to wash the pots, let them air dry, and then stack them up. So that next year, when I go to pull them out in the spring, I won't be covered with old and moldy dirt. Okay. Yesterday I stopped doing it partway because honestly it was just taking forever, and I felt like I didn't have the best method to cleaning my pots, and I was gonna be there all night. My new process is to fill the tub with just a shallow amount of water, put the pots in, and then scrub them with a sponge, and then at the very end just hose them off. I do not care for this part of the process. It's like not very fun, but totally worth it. Dish soap seems to be working very well because the dirt doesn't just rinse off of the pots like you might think. If it did, then you can just put them out in the rain and it would be as easy as that. But because the pots are porous, it kind of holds onto the dirt, and so you have to scrub it off of the outside and the inside. These are the ones from yesterday, and after sitting out all night, I mean, they look pretty much brand new again, so I feel like I'm doing the right thing. Beware of roots getting stuck in the drain. It's kind of like your hair getting stuck, except for plants. Now it's time to review. Looking back, I actually saved both money and plastic by having my own balcony garden. So on average, I would buy about 4 packages of herbs per week, and they usually come in these sort of like plastic clamshell containers. And they cost about $2.89 each depending on the herb or the place that you buy it. So for 16 weeks of summer, 4 packages a week, $2.80 per package. I saved like around $180, so just under $200 basically, which you might recall is pretty close to the cost of the entire garden, which I'm reusing most of next year because I'm not going to have to buy new pots, and the pots are the most significant cost. Also just brought a lot of joy to my days. I really like waking up in the morning and looking at the garden and watering it and taking care of it and tending to it. I found it just, it's a very fruitful experience, and it's something that I had missed doing because I hadn't gardened in so many years. And then in terms of plastic savings, I actually saved, so 4 packages per week, 16 weeks of summer, so 64 clamshell packages not used. And if I think about that, like, okay, 64 is a lot, but it's not a crazy lot. But if I think about like every year, like imagine I had have gardened for the last 5 years, or imagine that I do this for the rest of my life, how many packages I won't be using. It's a good savings. Like I think sustainability is one of those things that's impossible to do it perfectly, but every effort counts. So I feel pretty good about that. Overall, I just loved it. And I'm really sad that gardening season is over, to be honest. I have my 2 houseplants still, but they're not edible. I mean, unless I got really desperate, I could eat them, but I think they would make me sick.